In the region of Sinnoh, deep within the heart of eternal forest lies the old Chateau, a mansion as enigmatic as it is feared. Its history is shrouded in rumors of ghostly encounters and inexplicable phenomena. As a young Pokemon trainer, my fascination with ghost stories and legends led me to this ominous location. Accompanied by my trusted partner, a mischievous but loyal Ghastly, I ventured into the heart of the forest. The deeper we went, the more the forest seemed to close in around us. The trees gnarled like twisted sentinels guarding the path to the chateau. As we approached the mansion, an eerie silence enveloped the area. The usual forest sounds were conspicuously absent, replaced by a heavy stillness that seemed to weigh upon the very air. The chateau loomed before us, its grandeur faded by time, its windows staring like empty eyes. Bracing myself, I stepped inside, Ghastly floating close by, its form flickering in the dim light filtering through the dusty windows. The interior of the chateau was a testament to decay. Opulent furniture lay draped in cobwebs, and portraits of long-gone residents adorned the walls, their eyes seeming to follow our every move. The grand hallway led us to the dining room, where a table was set as though a guest had only just left. A chandelier hung overhead, swaying ever so slightly as if disturbed by our presence. Ghastly, curious and unafraid, floated ahead, leading us deeper into the mansion's heart. It was in the library where we first felt it, a chill that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Books lined the shelves, their titles obscured by years of dust and neglect. In the center of the room stood a grand piano, its keys worn as if many hands have played it over the years. Suddenly a soft melody filled the air, a tune both haunting and beautiful. The piano was playing itself, the keys moving with ghostly precision. Ghastly hovered near me, its usual playful demeanor replaced by a cautious wariness. As the melody continued, a cold wind swept through the room, and the air shimmered with the spectral light. Before us appeared the translucent figures of Pokemon, a Gengar, a Haunter, and a Chandelure, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. They seemed to be drawn to the music, swaying gently as if in a trance. The ghostly Pokemon, moving in harmony with the melody, seemed to be reliving a moment from the chateau's grand past. Their ethereal dance was mesmerizing, yet beneath it lay a sense of profound sadness, a longing for days long gone. As the last note of the melody faded, the ghostly Pokemon turned their attention to us. The Gengar's gaze was particularly unsettling, a mix of curiosity and mischief in its eyes. It was then that I noticed an old journal on the nearby table, its pages yellowed with age. Ghastly, sensing my interest, floated over and used his ethereal body to turn the pages. The journal belonged to the chateau's last owner, a man obsessed with the paranormal. His writings were frantic, filled with tales of conversation with ghost-eye Pokemon, and his attempts to breach the veil between the living and the dead. The final entry was disturbing. They are restless tonight. The Pokemon in the walls whisper of a coming storm, a darkness that will consume the chateau. I fear I may have gone too far. As I read these words, a sudden gust of wind howled through the library, extinguishing the candles and plunging us into the darkness. The Pokemon began to wail, a mournful sound that echoed off the walls. In the pitch-black library, the wails of the ghost Pokemon grew louder, their cries a lament for something lost, something irrevocably altered. I fumbled for my flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness, revealing glimpses of the ghostly figures as they moved around us. Ghastly, its body pulsing with a strange light, seemed to be communicating with the spirits. The Gengar approached, its expression one of solemn understanding. It gestured towards a hidden passage behind the bookshelf, a passage that had gone unnoticed until now. With a sense of anticipation, I followed the Gengar down the narrow, winding staircase that lay beyond the hidden door. The air grew colder with each step, the sense of ancient secrets heavy in the air. At the bottom of the stairs we found ourselves in a vast underground chamber, the walls lined with strange runes and faded murals depicting scenes of Pokemon and humans, living and dead, existing in harmony. In the center of the chamber stood an altar. In the middle of it, a peculiar artifact that was radiating a ghostly light. The artifact seemed to pulsate with energy. It was an orb, its surface swirling with what looked like captured souls. The Gengar, Haunter, and Chandelier gathered around it, their forms flickering as if resonating with the orb's power. I cautiously approached the altar, my heart pounding in my chest. The air around the artifact was charged, the whispers of 1,000 voices filling my ears. Ghastly floated beside me, its gaze fixed on the orb with a mixture of awe and fear. It was then that the ground beneath us began to tremble, a deep rumbling that seemed to emanate from the very core of the chateau. The walls of the chamber started to shift, revealing hidden inscriptions that glowed with the same spectral light as the orb. The ghostly Pokemon began to chant in unison, their voices harmonizing with the rumbling of the earth. The orb's light intensified, casting ghostly images onto the walls, scenes of the chateau in its heyday, filled with laughter and joy, and then changing to depict its gradual descent into darkness. As the images flickered, a realization dawned on me. The orb was a memory vessel, containing the essence of the chateau's past, both its joy and its sorrows. The tremors grew stronger, and I sensed that the orb was nearing a critical point, its energy about to be unleashed. In a desperate bid to prevent a catastrophe, I reached out to the orb, hoping to somehow contain its burgeoning power. As my hand touched its surface, a surge of energy coursed through me. Visions of the chateau's past resident flashed before my eyes. Their lives, their joys, and their inevitable descent into despair as the darkness consumed the mansion. Among them was the chateau's last owner, his obsession with paranormal leading him down a path of no return. The ghostly Pokemon's chanting reached a crescendo, their forms becoming more defined, more real. It was as if the orb's energy was giving them substance, bridging the gap between the living and the dead. Ghastly, reacting to the unfolding chaos, unleashed a powerful shadow ball at the orb. The impact caused a blinding explosion of light, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. When the light faded, we found ourselves back in the library. The chateau now eerily quiet. The orb, now dark and inert, laid cracked on the floor. The ghostly Pokemon were gone, their wails and whispers silenced. The old chateau, now silent, stood as a monument to the unknown. As Ghastly and I left its crumbling walls behind, the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, but the air still held a hint of mystery, a whisper of the secrets that lay within the mansion's aged stone. Though the chateau no longer echoed with the wails of its ghostly inhabitants, a sense of unease lingered. The mystery of the vanishing guests remained unsolved, a puzzle lost to the mist of time. The artifact, once a beacon of spectral energy, lay dormant and cracked, its power spent. The ghost, perhaps freed from their eternal bondage, had vanished, leaving the chateau in a solemn quietude. As we journeyed back through the forest, a part of me couldn't shake the feeling that the chateau's story was far from over. The whispers of the forest seemed to echo the sentiment, a warning to any who dared to tread too close to its secrets. For those who pass by the old chateau, a word of caution: tread lightly and respect the mysteries that linger within. For in the world of Pokemon, not all tales have ending, and some secrets are better left undisturbed, hidden deep within the shadows.